Hey everyone, this is Harry from Spurs TV, back with another match review video. So Spurs beat Qarabag 3-0 in the Europa League on the first match day of the 8. So let's get into it first of all. Well, let's look at the starting lineup. Dragusin came in for Romero, who's actually suspended. A lot of people probably forgot about that. Gray started at right back and Davies started at left back initially. And the midfield consists of Saar, Bissouma, and Bergval, who all kind of needed minutes, players I mentioned. And the front line was the same as last game, Son, Solanke and Johnson. Maybe that's there to try and build chemistry, I don't know. But anyways, for a game that, on the face of it, should have been easy, and in the end it kind of was, there's a lot to get into, right? So let's start, first of all, with the Dragusin red card. Straight red for me. There's no debates there. And this kind of put Spurs a bit on the back foot. I think we kind of, 5 minutes afterwards, I was kind of a bit worried, but he surprisingly took off Bergval, and I kind of would have left Bergval on the pitch. And this wouldn't be very unpopular, but I would have taken off Son and left 3 in midfield and just 2 up front with Solanke and Johnson, because at least had a bit of pace. But he left Son on, who I think had a poor game, and he's clearly not good on the left-hand side anymore. Something I've banged on about for like a year or two now, almost now. And I think eventually Spurs scored with Johnson. Thankfully, it was quite soon after red, and that helped a lot. But Qarabag were back in the game, and they had a few big chances. And at halftime, it was 1-0. And what did Ange do? He brought on Kulusevski for Johnson, and I do think that was kind of tactical because they were overloading Gray on that side, and Kulusevski kind of did the donkey work. In any other scenario, I want to put Kulusevski on the wing, but we were 10 men. I think Kulu is a great player to bring on with 10 men because he has the ball retention. And I think he's, of all the players we have, he has the best ball retention. So Kulusevski coming was a good change, and big up to Ange for that one, I guess. But this lot are just, Qarabag is another word for me as like garbage, right? I just don't think they had a lot of chances. They actually did have a lot of chances. One in the first half, which they should have scored. Possibly another one. I mean, they hit the post. Vicario had to make 3 or 4 big saves. One was like an amazing shot. They even missed a penalty after Spurs got their second, with Solanke getting another one as well. And yeah, Saar got the second off a corner, surprisingly, but it was a massive deflection if you really see it. But the standout players for me were probably Solanke. I thought it was probably his best game in the Spurs shirt. Taking away the goal, I think he did a lot of legwork. I thought Johnson, apart from his goal, didn't really do that much. The midfield-wise, I think Bergval was he would probably be a bit miffed that he got taken off, but Bissouma was probably our best. And up top, like I mentioned, I think Solanke was great, but Son, he did come off, and maybe it's an injury, I don't know. But I do feel like against better sides playing like this, we're going to suffer. I know we won 3-0, and on the face of it, you might think it's very, simple. It's 3-0, Spurs deserve the 3-0. I'm not saying we didn't deserve the 3-0. I'm just saying we gave away so many big chances that if it was a better quality side, they probably would make us pay. And this is why I look to Sunday and think, this is the biggest test for us. This is the game where we have to prove that we are going to be in there, right? So we have to go to Old Trafford and get something. But as for tonight, it's 3-0 on the face of it. Probably a lot less easier than it looks. And we go on to United, and hopefully Son isn't out for a long time because he did come off an injury, like I said. And obviously he will put his strongest side against United. It's pretty obvious. But I will big up Ange for one thing. It was a mixed side, which is something I called for. I just wonder why he didn't put a similar side out against Coventry, because I actually thought Coventry were a better quality side than Qarabag, which says a lot, actually. And I will give credit to players with 10 men to do it, but there were a lot of instances in this tactics where, if it was, like I said, it was a better side, the chance the Qarabag had, we would have probably had the same Chelsea role like we had last season. Like I said, even someone Jackson scored against us, so it says a lot. But these players in Qarabag, apart from number 6, I didn't really see any quality there. And yeah, we just moved to United. I'll be back later today because I filmed this on just after the game, so we'll be back later tonight for a stream because it's actually Friday. And yeah, come on, you Spurs.